Hi, this is Priyanka and I welcome you all to Srijan Wednesday webinars. For those who are attending for the first time, this is a community initiative by Srijan Technologies. As a part of this initiative, we will host webinars every alternate Wednesday. We have speakers from different domains who talk about subjects like front-end technologies, UI UX, mobile apps, media, entrepreneurship, digital marketing, and many more. Today's webinar titled Key Steps in Sales and Marketing for Startups is focused on the initial steps that startups should take for their go-to-market strategy. So in the first 40 minutes, our speaker will provide valuable pointers on how to reach out to youth for selling your product and how you can integrate your online and offline marketing efforts. The last 15 minutes will be for a Q&A round. I request you all to please keep typing in your questions that you have during the presentation, and we will take them up towards the end of the session in the Q&A round. Also, we will be taking up some questions between the webinar after a few slides. I would now like to introduce our speaker for today's webinar. We have with us Amit Grover. Amit is the CEO and founder of Nurture Talent Academy, India's first institute for entrepreneurs. He is an IIT Delhi and IIM Indore graduate and has worked with brands like Infosys, Asian Paints, Onida, and Mumbai Indians previously. He is passionate about entrepreneurship with the vision to create 1,000 startups and about 20,000 jobs in the next 3 to 5 years. So without taking up any more time, let's get started. Amit, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks to our friends at Srijan for inviting me for this exciting session and ability to interact with all of you. Welcome to all our listeners, and I am happy to know that startups, founders, professionals, students running ventures and planning to run their ventures or in important positions in different companies are here to interact with me today. And just to share with you, sales and marketing happens to be a love and passion area for me. So when the Srijan team approached us, what could be a relevant thing to talk about, I said definitely my experiences, the good things, bad things, where I learned and where I failed in sales and marketing will be definitely an experience I love to share, and happy to take more feedback and learn from all of you. So let me, friends, start with something to talk to you in what I understand sales and marketing is all about. So as I say, the three keywords: try, succeed, repeat. Sales and marketing works like a process in any organization. I was with one of my entrepreneur friends, highly successful, and he was asking me that what are the two things that any business should be, worried about or feel important about. So I said any business has only two functions: to create and to sell. Banana or bechna. It's very important that you have expertise in one of these two areas, so that maybe your team or your founders or partners or co-founders would have the expertise in another area. So before you get into something, try to learn this epitaph for any venture. Success is to create and to sell. So this is what I believe sales is all about. It's like a bicycle. You keep pedaling or you will fall down. So there is no day when you can say, oh, I have done enough marketing. There's no day when you have said, oh, I have done enough sales, I have made enough number of calls, I have done enough number of blogging and social networking, and I have put up enough number of posters, and I have given enough number of ads. There's no such day. Okay. Just to share with you, friends, where I come from. I am a middle class person, born and brought up in Kanpur. My first job after IIT was into software development, and that's where I realized working with machines is a very important and difficult part of life. But yes, there's a lot more, and that's what made me passionate about sales and marketing. When I did MBA from my Indore, we had a lot of fun, and one of the festivals that we organized attracted nearly 1 lakh audience in that Mela, that exhibition which we held over 2.5 days. And that's where I thought, yes, my job will be in sales and marketing, and that's when I joined Asian Paints. So the experiences that we had at that time, and I still believe today also they are relevant in what I am doing as a startup, is that sales is like a bicycle. There is no day that you can say, okay, I have done enough. Every day you have to dig, you have to take out water from the well so that you are alive and you keep drinking. So friends, all of you must be having a lot of ideas, a lot of products, and a lot of services in your mind. Some of you might have already launched, and some of you have already got initial set of customers, maybe scaled to a certain level. I would relate to you my experiences at Nurture Talent. In the last 5 years, Nurture Talent has been into training and development, especially related to entrepreneurship. So we organize training programs for startups, professionals, and college students. A majority of our customers are college students, people who are believed कि they have less money, or they are believed that they are very fragile in their thought process, or maybe not brand loyal. A lot of things go through the mind of a young person before he actually decides what he needs to do in life, and what he needs to pay for, and what he needs to go for. So that's one of the very tough market that we approached. And 5 years back, when Nurture Talent was started, I had a simple vision that was to create jobs for the country. So we believe that every one startup that comes out of our academy will create 20 jobs in the next maybe 5 years, and that will help us achieve 20,000 students, 1,000 entrepreneurs, and 20,000 jobs. So friends, where did it all start? So let me share with you the experiences. The very first step that we took in our journey was obviously in India, IITs, IIMs, these are the organizations which are highly revered, highly respected, even in the elite class, as well as the investor community, as well as the middle class. People really respect these brands, these names. So that's one thing I decided I would use to the utmost effect. And though there will be challenges, you will find there is some story, something that will help you build your personal brand before you start spending money in maybe TV or radio or newspaper or any other advertising mediums, even online and offline. It is very important to build your personal brand. And you must have come across how, for example, in the offline, Kishore Biani's brand is associated with the Big Bazaar, and in the online, the Bansal brothers, I will not say they are mistaken to be brothers, the Bansal friends are associated with the brand of Flipkart. So it's very important to have your personal brand uh, in the eyes of the customers as well as the investor community, whichever you are targeting. That's the time when you realize that people are not going to buy from you. I was working in Onida prior to starting Nurture Talent. Before that, I was with Asian Paints. We just had to give our company visiting cards, and it will open doors for a lot of us. I would call people and say I'm calling from Onida. It was not about I'm Amit Grover, I'm talking about this business, this product, that service. No, it was mostly as an introduction, the company as a brand. But when we started doing our own business, that's the time we realized how important it is for you to build your personal brand. Remember, people buy from people. Okay, you must have heard stories of how the Naukri.com founder Sanjeev Bikhchandani and the CEO Hitesh Oberoi, they used to personally meet the customers, tell them, "Oh, please give me the check. You know, I came from a HLL kind of company, and I came from IAM background," or some other association that you can create. Okay. You can use any of these associations. You could say I have a social kind of entrepreneurial instinct which I want to pursue, or I am from a village kind of a thing. Just pick something that is unique about you. You can say I'm a women entrepreneur, I'm a clean tech business, I am an innovative or a pioneer in what we are doing. Okay, there has to be one or two key differentiators, and just pick those and start creating an aura, a story around that. Okay, there are nowadays a lot of options available. You can use social media to build your personal brand. I have recently started this, and I realized if I had done it for last 5 years, it must have been a very strong thing. But you can create an account on blogger.com. I have a website, a personal blog called amitgrover.co.in, and I use it to personally express my views and opinions about various things, and in the middle somewhere I insert parts of my business and my work and professional life in that as well. So it's a very useful way for you to start creating your image in front of the audience, in front of the customers who will potentially vouch for you. You could start connecting your blog with the other social networks. I'm sure all of you have a presence on leading networks like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Create a personal account, create a company account, and try to connect them using if this then that. Some of you might be aware of this very important way. So whatever you post on Facebook can come on Twitter, whatever you put on Twitter can come on LinkedIn, and you don't need to cut, copy and paste in different accounts all the time. This helps you save your time and save your headache of remembering different networks and passwords. Uh, One another thing that I realized is a lot of times people say, please send me your photograph, please send me your profile, we want to feature you, or we want to announce your name or something. So always start with keeping a professional standardized photo and a small 3 or 4 lines about yourself, and try to integrate it with your business. Take up speaking assignments in colleges, workshops, events, forums. There are hundreds of ways in which you can be a part. Most importantly, as I say, be known for something. Don't be in the middle, whether you are let's say a product or a service or a solutions company, whether you are a online company selling offline or an offline company selling online. Have an identity for yourself, and that's where, as you will realize that over a period of time, people will start trusting what you say, and that's the next level where they will start buying what you produce. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of you must have huge respect for the leaders of companies like Facebook, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Infosys, Wipros, Reliance of the world. So it does not matter whether you are an Indian or an international company. You would realize that the people heading them are very assured of their personal brand, and they are not ashamed about projecting it, or shy about projecting it towards the world. Okay, so these are some of the things I wanted to talk about, that this is a beginning point for you to start attracting people towards your company, your product, your service, and what you want to achieve. So sales and marketing is about what begins from inside. So try to volunteer for some of these events. Even when you talk to one, for example, I remember I talked about an event or some scenario which was quoted in Times of India, and the next day I got a call from the Hindu, and few months later I got a call from Rediff, and then I got covered on Business Today. In fact, Nurture Talent was one of the hottest startups in the year 2010, when the Business Today magazine released the list of hottest startups at that time. We have matured over the last few years, but what I want to share a lesson with all of the existing and upcoming entrepreneurs is that you need to build a personal brand which will reflect onto your company brand over a period of time. Some things maybe you might be aware of, those people who are a part of the Indian startup ecosystem. Head Start, it's a NGO which organizes Startup Saturdays every second Saturday across 10 cities. About 100 people come together, share their experiences, led by a couple of speakers, having some agenda. There's a young entrepreneur development group. This is a group site. There is a small group of people. Rodinhood is a community of young startups and entrepreneurs, both in the tech and non-tech domain, who share views and common interests. Open Coffee Club, OCC, all across the world, it's very famous for entrepreneurship and like-minded people. You can also be a part of forums on meetup.com. We have our own community called Startup Yatra, where startups do a travel, visit the offices of established entrepreneurs, and that's where they learn from these established gurus. TIE is more for advanced businesses, SMEs. NEN is towards college and students entrepreneurship. NASCOM has got various initiatives. The new entity called iSprit, which has come up recently, which is focused towards product development ecosystem. In all these online and offline forums, you'll find anywhere between 500 to 5,000 community members. Each of them has a interest in the area of product, services, technology, business, manufacturing, e-commerce, and you can start understanding to them, initiating your dialogues with them, and being able to develop your presence, which will next step lead on to business benefits for you. So look at it this way, that when you start your journey as an entrepreneur, as well as during your growth or maturity stages, you will find various people who will be interested in knowing about you, interested in learning and networking with you. And there are all of these forums which will be helpful for you at different stages. Try being a part of maybe one or two events every weekend. I personally have a rule that every weekend I invest in personal development. It may be a training, it may be a meeting, it could be in groups, it could be individually, but beyond the type of business that you're doing, it is very important to learn what's happening. Some of the entrepreneurs I have come across who lack in motivation, they find things very interesting that there are other people who are supporting them, which may not be possible, some of the problems to share with their maybe immediate family members. So choose one or two brands, words which will be your representation in the community, and people will relate you for that. It could be travel, it could be technology, it could be some programming language, it could be some methodology, some process, and whatever you talk about in social networks, online and offline, whatever events you attend, try to be a part of those kind of things. Even your the way you communicate and way you present, it matters a lot to have that. That brings me to another important point, and I would say from the first step going to the next step is understanding what your customers really want. Okay, when I started Nurture Talent, I had this high level perception that there's a need for knowledge and skill building and new technologies and quality and free education. However, when we started getting into the depth of what India's education system is and what we are trying to propagate, you realize the importance of certificates. Degrees, certificates, they matter a lot. The person who gets it, they have a very happy feeling. I was talking to one of my friends who's in the travel business, and one of the factors he was sharing that the reason why people are onto the new app booking companies, and one of them is under very bad name recently because of the rape issue. But the reason he suggested why people are using the app booking services, not because of convenience, but because they get an invoice, they get a bill that they can show to their company and they get money back from their company. A few years back, no taxi wala used to give you any bill or any invoice. They used to just take cash from you and okay, tata, bye bye. So why the service is successful or why a product is successful may or may not have anything to do with the price or the quality or what you have in mind. So try to get into the depth. For example, when I do a lot of programs and workshops for the college students, the things that we learned over a period of time is that you have to keep an exam. Okay, like in India, we study 1 day or 2 day before the exam dates. Okay, so we artificially created our own exams to ensure that there is a last date and you have to prepare before that last date. We used movies like Band Baja Barat because we realized people want to interact, they want to entertain themselves in education. Nobody wants to watch boring slides, and they want to have freedom from their boring classes, which they are anyway paying and getting a degree for. I said, okay, when we are doing a program in a college, we have to bring in the element of surprise, we have to bring in an element of game in that. And surprisingly, some of the students would attend our training programs just because they would be getting a OD, which is opportunity to bunk classes. So initially in our programs, we even didn't offer people say a lunch or a dinner or a 5-star experience. So we had no bells and whistles, only focus on the core. That's where we started, and over a period of time we started adding bells and whistles to our experience based on the customer learning. So just to share with you, those people who are whether in a B2B kind of a business where you are selling to another company, or in a B2C kind of a business where you are selling to an individual customer, always keep these 10 questions to identify your potential customer. This question can be answered before you start making the product, after you start making the product, and always keep refining these answers as you go along. So try to identify in the depth of who is doing what they are doing. uh, you can call this identification process, you can call it a MVP, you can give it any agile method or way to develop and recognize and identify customer development process. But I'm not going to go by the terms and the terminologies, and the essence remains that the deep insights into your customers' behavior. Who's paying? Why are they paying? What do they need? It's not a perception or a gut feeling which will help you. I always recommend use direct interviews, talk to as many direct customers as you can. Okay, no amount of surveys or no amount of studies by a McKinsey or Gartner will tell you what your customers want. Only you can decide what your customers want. Okay, friends, I think the couple of things that we have talked about, I would give it a pause at this point of time, and I would request Priyanka that if we can give an opportunity to the attendees to ask their questions or answer a few of them. I'll be happy to take up questions in what we have talked about till now.
Sure. Thanks, Amit. That's actually very thoughtful of you. So we have already received some questions, and I would request those who have questions so far to please type them in. Meanwhile, we'll take our first question by Kabir. He wants to know, would Medium be a better portal than Blogger, etc. now?
Sorry, you said medium.
Yes, medium.
Sorry.
Medium.
So I'm just giving an example. Blogger benefit is because it's a Google tool, hence it gives you some SEO, brownie points, as well as integration with Google Plus and various other search benefits. However, you are free to use any other tool you find comfortable. WordPress is also useful. There are some other tools also which are useful. I personally prefer Blogger just because of my confidence in Google and its integration in the search world.
All right. Our next question is by Amandeep. He wants to know how should we approach colleagues, decision makers like TPOs, MD or chairman to use our products and services. I think he meant colleges decision makers like TPOs, MD and chairman to use our products or services.
Okay, great. I would be very happy to know more, and we can definitely connect offline as well on this. Feel free to follow me and request on Twitter as well and other social networks. However, it's a very complex game, and I think maybe I can come down to the other point where we approached various TPOs and colleges, directors, principals. Typically, most of the colleges have got two key functions: to take admissions, which gives them more money, and to get placements, which ensures next year more admissions will happen. Okay, so whatever you do, if you can align your offering with these two objectives, you are always welcome in any college across India, especially engineering and management colleges, which are a majority. Undergraduate or other colleges also are on this tracks. Okay, however, anything else is seen as an expense or seen as not a value addition. Okay, so one is to get your key proposition right. The other thing is that the partnerships make a huge lot of difference. If you are not a brand, as I said, Master Talent, when we started, we were not known in the community, in the education field and all. So what we did was we did a partnership with the entrepreneurship cells of leading organizations. As I said, you can talk to many IITs, and each of the IITs has got a student club, and all those clubs are looking for associations, sponsorships and participation. And what we did in our case was our training program was for the college students, and as a matter of fact we also decided that the program should be paid for by the student directly instead of being paid for by the college authorities or the college. So keeping this as a part of our business proposition, we started approaching many colleges, and there are different approaches. Every college has got either the principal and the trustees and the managements. Sometimes they are the decision makers. Sometimes their clubs and events and festivals. Every college has their own. Their secretaries and their students are the champion. And there are sometimes when the training and placement officers are the decision makers. Okay, so each of them has got various benefits to look for. Some could be tangible, some could be intangible. Okay, so the best way would be using a combination. As I have shared on the slides, entrepreneurship is a business related program. So we did tie up with IITs and IIMs for doing joint certification. So now understand, the college is getting an opportunity to host a high quality program for their college students, and we made it some kind of an exclusive benefit that this is not being offered to other colleges. So they were very happy to host us. The second is the student is getting a certification while also getting a high quality training. So he is happy because he can write it in his resume. He has an opportunity to get internships. So the student is also very happy. and we used to give certificate of appreciation or some letter to the faculty members also. Although their role or their involvement was limited in the sense that they were only guiding the students for the programs, but we also involved them and gave them the certificates. So these are some of the things which are very useful. There are a lot of challenges that the college directors and principals are not as tech savvy. So whenever you are calling or email them, make sure that you do a lot of follow-ups. Typically 9 to 11 in the morning or 2 to 4 in the evening is a good time. After college hours is a bad time to approach them. While on the other hand, students are available only after 5 o'clock. Okay, so majority of college students between 10 o'clock to maybe 5 o'clock, if you call them, they'll either not pick, or their phones are switched off, or they are picked up by their parents, and there is no benefit at that time. So when we started putting our calling team and the sales team to talk to the students or directors and principals, used to always manage our time accordingly, that students are available after 5 o'clock and their faculty or the college principal is available during the day hours. So that's how we used to balance our work. So it always helps to have these kind of partnerships, and again there are some cost to have these partnerships. So you have to share a part of your revenue or expected revenue with these partners, like the Computer Society of India or IEEE is there, or some other organization. Another thing just to add, because this is something a relevant thing I would like to share, is that lot of people are having their own vested interest or maybe not involved in the decision making. So try to avoid these people are time killers. Okay, there are effectively about 10,000 colleges across India, out of which about 4,000 I would say are the active ones, which are in there, proactively looking for and dealing for high quality external benefits, like people selling them technology or trainings or ERP or software things. So just filter out the ones which are irrelevant. There are various ways to get their contact details. Directories and education related websites are there. Most of their landlines are pretty active. Their social media, although presence is not so much, but the websites have information. By law, they have to list out the contact details of the decision makers on their mandatory disclosure form. So there is something known as the mandatory disclosure form. That is where you can get all the data for most of the colleges via their websites. Unfortunately, in India, the partnerships and distribution networks are not very strong, especially in the education sector. So suppose you have a very Todo product and you believe in it a lot, and you say that you cannot put a sales team on the ground. I would personally suggest that you should have a relook at ways of doing things on the phone or over the email, rather than trying to assign somebody the responsibility of distributing your product or services. So for the initial set of customers, try being a part of a lot of events and forums. You'll find higher education seminar, UGC sponsored program, AICT sponsored event, faculty development workshop. If you search for these keywords, you will find a lot of events happening around the education sector. And as I said, again coming back to the first slide, if you are a speaker or if you are talking about these events and forums and your presence, then you can make a contact, share visiting cards. They'll invite you for the purpose. So I hope I have given you a few pointers in which way you could approach the top management of any college in India. Is this helpful?
Uh, yeah, thanks, Amit. Actually, Amandeep had sent in another question where he wanted to know how did you manage to reach your first 5 colleges, but then he wrote in saying that many thanks, and his second question has also been answered with the first one. So we'll take up our next question here by Kabir. He wants to know what is the best way to collect information.
Okay, great. So I'm assuming that this is related to the education sector, although maybe we can be more generic. So the best way to collect information, first of all, you have to define what information you are looking for. Okay. As I said, as far as suppose a college is concerned, you can go to the AICTE website, you can go to the UGC website, you can go to shiksha.com, you can go to various other college related portals where you can get all the information. However, you'll have to go one by one. It's a little time taking process. Personally, at a time when we were struggling for the initial set of colleges and contacts, we used to do it manually, and we had a very high satisfaction rates. For example, when 100 people used to attend our programs, about 90 to 95% will feel very happy and satisfied, and they in turn would give us invitation to go to their colleges. Okay, so those of you who are aware about the various extracurricular programs and events happening across Indian colleges would be knowing that the trends are started by the leading ones, like for example IIT Bombay has got a Tech Fest, or IIT Delhi has a Twist, or a Rendezvous, or a Mood Indigo, Mood Eye. So whatever happens as an event or training or workshop or some seminar in these festivals are copied by and organized by the local colleges, and where the students from other colleges will come and be a part, and they in turn take back the experiences to their cities, and then from these it spreads to the tier 2, tier 3 cities and colleges, and then it becomes a mass phenomenon, and that's how it really starts taking off. Okay, in terms of training, for example, robotics is seen as a very big training business. Ethical hacking workshops is seen as a very big business. Entrepreneurship training and development is a good opportunity. Nowadays, social media or digital marketing has become a very important part of the extracurricular activities. Even programming or design skills are being taken up as a new opportunity area as far as extracurricular programs are concerned. Then there are soft skills training, personality training, etc. So if you have a very innovative and new service or training or program, the first thing you would do is try to get one of the leading organizations to endorse it. Okay, so it could be an IIT or one of the IIMs, or that is where you would get your initial brand to develop, and from there onwards you will keep getting the word of mouth, etc. Okay. Coming back to what are the other ways to get the data. For example, when we did a partnership with Computer Society of India, they shared with us the list of the chapters and the student coordinators, and that was nearly 1,000 colleges which added to our database. Initially we also try to put up all the data together, because what happens is when you collect data from multiple sources, it becomes difficult to use a CRM or Excel sheet and Google Drives or Dropbox for this data. So we went for Salesforce, but when it became a very expensive tool over a period of time, we realized that we are able to handle it maybe in better ways. So we went for some other tools and technologies, and then we settled for Streak. That's another software which helps you to integrate CRM with your email. The other sources of data could be websites like for MBA there is a website called Dare to Complete. For engineering there is a website called Let Me Know, LETMEKNOW. There is another website called Know a Fest, KNOW FEST. There's so there's a Fadu Engineers, there is a Engineer Babu, there's a crazyengineers.com. So one of my friend who runs crazyengineers.com, he used to put our articles on the website of Crazy Engineers. So that's where we used to get a lot of leads. So I think and the other benefit that we also realized was through our campus ambassadors. So when we started using campus ambassadors, so the concept is that you assign 1 or 2 person from a college as your campus ambassador. You give him free goodies, free trainings, maybe t-shirts and mugs, or recharge coupons, or McDonald's burger vouchers, and in return they have to give you all the support that you require in that college or the community. So that's a good initiative that we took, started in 2011. In the last, every year we take 100 to 200 campus ambassadors, we engage them, we play contests with them, we give them movie coupons and vouchers, and we give them internship and training benefits, and these people, they help us get us the director ka phone number or personal phone numbers, and also these are very very good tools. Okay, so I think a combination of these multiple sources can be helpful for you to get the data that you need. Okay.
Okay. So actually,
So I think
Kabir,
Priyanka, let us move on
sorry.
to some of the other points. Okay, and we'll keep coming back to the questions in a while.
All
Okay.
right. Yeah. Let's do that.
Great. So this is just some of our memories of previous workshops that we conducted all across India. This is in IT Bombay. The other important thing that I wanted to share with our friends, my listeners over here, is that at Nurture Talent we have been very very particular about the metrics that we are trying to achieve. Okay, and as you can see, none of these is a financial metric. Obviously, not that we don't measure or we don't go after the financial metrics, but we have a certain purpose and certain vision which we want to achieve. Okay, and that's the reason we started 5 years back to go after. So year one we started slow. Jan Feb I got only one customer. First Jan 2010 Nurture Talent was started. On the 3rd of Feb the first course was launched. It was a month-long program, 25,000 rupees. I gave a discount of 20%, 20,000 rupees. I got only one student in my first workshop. That is how we started. One city, Bombay. Then we went to Pune, we went to Delhi, we went to Gurgaon. So we said, okay, Saturday in Delhi, Sunday in Gurgaon. Then we went to Bangalore, then Chennai, Hyderabad. Then we started doing different courses. So when we started, the first program was Introduction to Entrepreneurship. Then we said other program, Finance for Entrepreneurs, another program, Marketing for Entrepreneurs, then another program, Business Plan for Entrepreneurs. So we kept rotating different topics in different cities and focused on the metros, and our target customers were the startups and professionals at that time. So in the year one we went to about 14 cities, reached to 660 customers, and had 37 workshops. And with every program, you imagine the one workshop, one city, one customer. This was the first February performance in 2010. Since then it has been a long journey. Today we stand to more than 30,000 customers. Nearly 500 workshops of Nurture Talent has happened. I have traveled personally to more than 100 plus cities, and we are mad about metrics, at least these key metrics. We have other metrics like number of students per workshop, fees per student per workshop, satisfaction scores, repeat rates, different things are there. Okay, but I would personally request all of you that a part of a sales and marketing is the achievement metric. So whatever you are planning to achieve, start measuring it, and you will find that you will start achieving it as well. So the next steps would be to work towards those metrics. So we always, after 100 plus cities, we stopped adding more cities in terms of, achieving the metrics, and then we just focused on the number of students per workshop at any point of time. So metrics can keep changing. However, try to align your metrics with your vision and be mad about them. Let everybody in the world know that these are the metrics you want to achieve, and these are the metrics that you are doing. So if you look at my Facebook status or a LinkedIn status of 5 years back, I mean, every time I had a workshop, I would share, okay, this is where we are right now. This is where we are right now. This is where we are right now. So you are putting it may be a ego, it may be an achievement, but you are sharing your maybe success or achievements with the world, which is what maybe those social networks are for. Uh, Let us talk about my experiences, which obviously maybe whenever I start my next venture, I'm going to keep these as my testaments. And this is where we have failed, and I'm very happy to admit that not being able to overcome these limitations and reasons can be any. So one of the very first thing that I have realized in the last 5 years, and it has been very important lesson for me, is that the getting a customer is not the most important thing. Keeping the customer is. Like I have trained nearly 30,000 plus students, including professionals, startups, businesses, entrepreneurs across the country, and till about 300 I used to remember the names and the email or the phone number or the background of those people. After 300 I lost personal track, and unfortunately for the business we did not create a process to keep a track of keeping the customers and offering something to them as a next step. Uh, so it has been a very expensive lesson, but yes, if we had put up a process on day one, I would have been far more happy today and far more successful, and maybe making far more money than I have made. I always tell people that whenever you go to any event, you exchange visiting cards, start keeping a record. Just take every night when you come from any event or program, put it into a proper database. It could be a MailChimp, or it could be an Excel sheet, it could be a Google Drive. Try to start building a database of email IDs over a period of time. That's the only currency, that's the only money that you will need or you will have. Nothing else will make a difference. So that's one failure I have seen in my sales and marketing experience at Nurture Talent. Other thing is, at some times I used to do the branding and events or spending money, and the other times we said, oh, we don't have any workshop coming up, so why spend on marketing, or why do any PR, or why do any interviews, or why take part in any events. So I guess every month you have to have some kind of activity going on, as marketing is not an expense, it's a necessity for business. So you should keep doing it and have some budget, whether it is 500 or 5,000 or 50,000 or 5 lakh or 5 crore. What's important is to keep putting some money aside as an investment into the future of your business. It could be for printing t-shirts, it could be for giving freebies, it could be for maybe donating books to people you believe may be your potential customers. It could be a logo redesign. But try to put some money into marketing all the time. Another thing, as I can share, is having some higher product versions and keep moving up the value chain. We at Nurture Talent charge on an average 1,000 rupees per day to a participant. For professionals it's a little higher, some cases a little less. That's the average, and unfortunately we have not been able to move up or down this value chain for various reasons, or that's the market that we are in. maybe some other day, some other business, some other market will definitely make a difference on this part. The other thing is, I believe that a lot of people say, ki, oh, I don't have money, I need investors. So I said, okay, what will you do with the money? He said, we'll hire salespeople. We'll then put them into field and they'll get business for us. And the next question is, okay, what are you doing? I'm doing the designing part, or I'm doing the coding part. So I said, okay, who in your team could be the best person for the sales and marketing? I could do it the best. So why not you do it now? Forget about the process, operations, execution. Uh, like for example, my personal this has been that I will take as many of the classes or the training programs as I can. However, over a period of time, maybe when so some of these things come in as a part of the DNA or the habit of the business that you are in, and you start doing it and you start enjoying it, then it becomes a part of your offering, and then you cannot disengage, and then you don't grow. So personally, whatever I do next, I will not do it on my own. Maybe somebody else will deliver, somebody else will be taking care of some other parts. Personally, I feel the best people in the team should be on to the sales and marketing functions. Now, once you get a project, once you get an assignment, once you are able to sell, put everything else to ensure that your commitment to the customer is met. So friends, getting the business, getting the project is the foremost priority of the business. You cannot say that Narayan Murthy will take care only of project and somebody else will sell the project for Infosys. No, the best guys have to be the sales and marketing guys. And the last thing, details make a huge difference. Um, I so over a period of time you start loving your product, then you start ignoring some of the important things, and then you start, oh, this is a usual thing for me. Okay, so what we may find usual or unnecessary or unimportant part of our product or service, or maybe we do not give it as much importance, the customer may find it, oh, it's beauty, it's a highlight, it's a USP for your product. Okay, so as much as possible, try to put in all of those features and benefits and advantages in front of your customer. Okay, so for example, initially we started giving certificate, but we never used to highlight that you will get a certificate. Okay, or for that matter, we used to give a CD and a book to the student, and we didn't give a photograph of the CD or the book to them. Then they felt surprised, oh, I got a CD also, I got a book also, very nice. And then, so what is there in the CD? And then I realized, oh, I should have told them earlier, and that would have fetched me more money or more customers, and either ways I would have won. Okay, so even like you must have seen a lot of ads nowadays of mobiles, hundreds of smartphones, hundreds of categories are there, and I saw some mobile which says you can take better selfies. I mean, is it really a big thing to talk about? But because of so much of competition, because of so much of segmentation, and because of so much of ways in which the customers take a decision nowadays, it is important to talk about as many features that you have. Do not rest until you have shown and showcased them to your customers. Okay, so I think details matter a lot. Try to project for your business as much as possible to your customers. It could be through online, offline, through advertising, through media. So friends, a lot of people who are at this point trying to raise or looking to raise funds for your businesses, and I thought that some of these questions could be useful to you. This is what an investor looks for in a business plan. During my previous role at Mumbai Angels, which is a group of 150 plus angel investors. Now it must have grown definitely. We used to always examine what would be the sales cycle be, how the competitors will react when they react, what will you do when they react. These are the kind of questions we used to ask. Typically, a good MBA would be very good in answering some of these questions, but not a good techie. The other side is also true. A lot of techies may not be good in marketing, but they are very good in product. So ideally, a techno managerial team really takes the cake from an investor and investment point of view. Okay, so friends, I think for all of you who are looking to cut the clutter, try to imagine your business among one of these two and think of what can create a difference. So friends, 98% of their DNA is the same, the chimpanzee and the Katrina Kaif, the lady on the other side. You have to create that 2% difference and see what can be relevant for your case. So friends, I wish you the best and maybe we have time for a few more questions. I'll be happy to take them up and for those of you who may have missed a few slides, I'll be happy to repeat them. These are our contact details. You can get in touch. Priyanka, can we take a couple of questions now?
Sure. Thank you so much, Amit. Well, that was a great session. And thanks again for sharing these sales and marketing insights and sharing live examples from your experiences. Moving on, I am sure these guys have more questions and I've already received a couple of questions. So what we are going to do is we'll try to keep every question within the 1 minute per question time frame. So we can take as many questions as possible. So guys, please press the raise hand button on your control panel if you want to ask your question using your microphone, or you can type your questions in the chat box below. So quickly, I'm going to take our next question, which is by Sumit. Sumit wants to know, how will you negotiate if the customer wants a solution to be built with low cost, and on the other hand, you are in need of clients? So this is more on the sales side. Amit, hi. So should I repeat my last question?
Yeah, please do. I thought it's breaking.
Okay.
Yes.
So our question is by Sumit, and he wants to know, how will you negotiate if the customer wants a solution to be built in low cost, and on the other hand, you are in need of clients?
Okay, great. So I think there will always be a situation when you are offering something to the customer which he does not agree of in terms of pricing. Okay. On the other hand, there would be enough number of vendors who are offering the same thing or a different thing to the customer. Okay. Typically in India, where price sensitivity is a big issue, I personally believe that patience is the only factor that helps you. Okay, even large companies like Reliance, they will negotiate a very hard way. Even small companies, they will also negotiate. Okay, and they'll give you all the reasons why they cannot pay or why they cannot afford your products and services. Personally, I would suggest that you stick to your guns, start promoting yourself in other forums. Do not kill the relationships, irrespective of the fact that you may or may not want to come down to the price that the other customer is looking for. Other thing is, please create a pipeline, create a huge pipeline of inbound, outbound. Use all the sales and marketing efforts. As I said, it could be through online or through offline efforts. Create a bigger pipeline for your business. Uh, if you believe that your price is right, if you believe that your quality is great, if you believe that's what the customer wants, I would not suggest that you negotiate on the price.
Okay, so our next question
I
is
hope
sorry, yeah, you were saying?
so. Other thing that I can suggest is that maybe one workaround could be offering something which is of lesser duration of or lesser intensity in terms of the cost or something that you are offering. Okay, so for example, suppose you are talking to a huge bank, okay, and they have a project which is worth 1 crore, and they are willing to offer you just 25 lakhs. So maybe then you can bid, okay, I'll offer you for 25 lakhs but with limited functionalities, and over a period of time we will come back to increasing the scope of the project. Okay, so for example, you can say, I'll offer my services for these 3 months, the charges will be 25 lakhs, and if you are happy and satisfied with the effort of these 3 months, then we will increase the scope of the project to 1 year and still keep the price to 1 crore. Okay, so that way you are having foot inside the door instead of being shown the door.
All right, thank you so much, Amit. That was a very wise suggestion. Since we are running short on time here, I would please request you to keep it, within the 1 minute time frame, because we have already exceeded the time frame. So our next question is by Amritanshu, who wants to know, is it a good practice to start marketing your product on social media before launching it? Your views on so what are your views on pre-launch marketing?
Great. So I think it's a very relevant point. We did it in the case of Startup Yatra, while last year we had some sponsorship from a company which sponsored Startup Yatra, and even before we were very sure or confirmed about the launch dates and final this thing, we came up with a website, okay, which allows you to collect email IDs, and this helped us to figure out what is the interest in this area. Okay, so I personally feel from my experience of Startup Yatra launch that pre-launch is a very good thing. It is very helpful. You can create some kind of a mystery, you can say coming soon or launching soon or something like that, and Indians, they really love it when they have that element of surprise, so something is coming up soon. Okay, but be very focused. Okay, don't target too many different communities or different groups for this. That's what my suggestion would be. Okay, there are websites like Kickoff Labs which help you create a landing page where you can mention name, email ID, phone number, and we'll update you when we launch. So I think that's a good way to collect good email IDs and ensure you have a good launch at time of when you are ready for the product.
Thank you so much. I hope it answered your question, Samritanshu. If not, please type in a follow-up question. Meanwhile, we'll take another question by Rahul, who wants to know, how do you suggest a solar project developer approach brand marketing in industrial sector?
Okay, so I think for industrial sectors, a foot on street is very relevant. you have a person going in talking about your product benefits to the potential customers. That's one way. So what I would suggest is make a good video, which maybe in a 1 or 2 minute, without taking too much time and distracting your potential customers, talks about your products benefits to them. Okay, and as I again said, that what your customer perceives as benefits may be different from what you perceive as a benefit to them. Okay, so one is a video is very helpful, especially when B2B people have very less time, and they have to take quick decisions. The other thing is that be a part of a lot of events and forums. In Pragati Maidan, every other day you will find some. I am referring to the Delhi Pragati Maidan trade promotion events are happening every other day. Be a part of some of them, even if you have to buy a business ticket, which will cost you a few hundred rupees. It's a very important way to develop relationships, and people are not in their office, so they can act casual. You are not in your office, so you can act in a more personalized way to generate leads for your business. Every city has these kind of, like Hyderabad has a high-tech center, maybe Bangalore has got their own race course road, some this thing. Bombay has a BKC, some grounds are there, and they have a lot of events and forums happening all across the year. So try being a part of some of them. You can use websites like indiamart.com to create and generate leads for this. So I would say use a combination of online and offline forums and events.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. So we will take up our next question here by Vinayak, who wants to know what, according to you, is the best way to penetrate into Tier 2 and Tier 3 markets. These cities don't necessarily have very good institutes to form partnerships with.
Okay, I'm assuming institutes you mean colleges. So I'm sure you must be really mistaken about your facts. So if you take the leading players and the demand for different programs and products as well as services, it's huge. As I said, Nurture Talent has been to 125 cities, and you can't even imagine where all these universities are. Okay, so there are only 5 or 6 metros and maybe another 10 maybe highly urbanized and populated cities. Rest of the 100 are outside these. Okay, I mean, Northeast is a huge market. There is a university in every state capital in the Northeast. Uh, if you take the example of Lovely Professional University, can you imagine there are 35,000 students only in Lovely Professional University? Amity University is in Noida. In your definition, this could be a second tier town. Jaipur has 100 colleges. Chandigarh has the best in terms of number of this thing there students. Chitkara University is there in Punjab. There are so many private universities you could approach. There's a KL University in Vijayawada. There is a Vignan University in Guntur. I mean, I will be surprised to know that you have not looked at some of these big names in terms of volumes. Even in terms of value, you will find that, for example, BITS Pilani, IIT Kharagpur, will you define them as tier 2 and tier 3 cities or metros? I think you get the hang, and most of these institutes are well connected by technology. You mean broadband, Wi-Fi, internet, as well as by road or by vehicles, and transportation is not a major concern. So the way forward could be to start identifying and look beyond the metros. And the other thing is, because of this perception that there are no good ways to reach out to them, a lot of high quality education is limited to the metros and high quality service providers Like for example, nurture talent, we have not limited our reach to the metros. We are going everywhere. Just maybe 1 hour away from Delhi, there is Mathura, Meerut, Aligarh, and there are hundreds of colleges between Ghaziabad and Meerut, NH24. Even Coimbatore, it has more high quality colleges as much as compared to a Chennai. So I think we need to look at these opportunities where not many companies are there. Okay. Yes, Priyanka.
Okay. Thank you so much, Amit. Our next question is by Angad.
Yes.
Yeah. Angad wants to know, what are your thoughts on marketing to college students for consumer products like stationery items?
Okay, so I think the one that I talked about, like for example, the campus ambassador program could be very useful for you. What you can do is, if you are doing it online, maybe even better, you can create a portal, give a login password to 1 or 2 students or a club or a team of students in that college, okay, and enable them that what you will be providing as a value to them and what they have to do in return for you. Your marketing will be free because they will be doing it for you. Especially use a lot of internship portals like Let's Intern or a 2019 or a internshala.com to reach out and get these campus ambassadors. So one is acquisition, getting these people as your brand ambassadors, franchisees, or local entrepreneurs who are going to manage your brand in that geography or a college. The other is engagement. Okay, a lot of companies, what they do is they'll recruit volunteers or recruit interns or recruit talent from these these colleges and these institutions, and then forget about it. Don't give them enough things to do. I think that should not be the case. So I think that program is very useful, and nowadays, because you can offer a recharge coupon of 100 rupees and there will be enough volunteers who will work for you. You can offer them some additional responsibilities like certificates and internships or even a job offer. A lot of people will want to volunteer and do good work for you. Okay, so you need to excite them about what they really want.
All right. Angad, I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much, Amit, for answering his question. Our next question is by Kabir. He says, we are building a fitness and nutrition application and want to get information about potential customers and ask the kind of question that you have mentioned in your slides. So what is your suggestion on that? And how should he go about collecting the information?
Okay, so I think as far as information is concerned, you should use some of the tools available for free for getting information. You can check out a website called lens.org, lens.org. It is a repository, it's a Google search, it's a database of all the patents and intellectual property which has been filed related to any product or service or processes across the world. Okay, it will tell you exactly who has been working on a related area, what have they been doing, who are the inventors, who are the assignees, who are the licensees of that product and the patent. Okay, then you can, once you have the names, you can start connecting with those people on social networks like LinkedIn, which is a very good network for professionals. Okay, the other way could be you can use Google alerts. Not many people may be aware. You can set an alert for any keyword or a combination of words, and you will keep getting emails whenever any article comes up related to that keyword. For example, if suppose you want to find out about taxi business, okay, so you can set an keyword alert on Uber, Ola cabs, one-way taxi, two-way taxi, outstation, radio taxi, and every time any website covers anything about these terms, you will get an email. Okay, once you get an email, you can click the link and learn more about it. Okay, you can also check out a website called mention.net, mention. So any person in his Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter talks about any keyword that you have set on mention, you will get an email notification. Okay, and then you have a exact list of those profiles of people interested in that keyword, what they are talking about, how they are talking. So if you search for a term called social media listening tools, you will find a lot of other such enablers which will help you to discover more about your potential customers. I hope this is helpful, Priyanka.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you, Amit. I would first like to apologize to all our audiences because we have exceeded the time limit, and we usually don't do that, and we respect the time of our audiences. But since we also try and create value for all the people who attend our webinars, we try and take all the questions within the webinar. So we are going to take some more questions very, very quickly. Our next question is by Jimmy. He wants to know, what are the best ways to get organic traffic, and also should a startup use PPC?
Okay, so as I have already mentioned a few tools to get organic traffic, obviously search engine optimization, you have to keep the basics in place. So for example, on Facebook, at least like 100 status messages of your like-minded people, visit pages, like those comments, share something, and your profile will automatically start getting more views and more requests, and more people will start connecting with you. Okay, so simple thing is start liking 100 status related to your business or the work or the product that you are doing. On Quora, again, ask questions, write answers. It's a website for question answers, Quora. For those who may not be aware of, you can follow like-minded people, create topics, create interest, create communities, and start connecting with people who are of like-minded nature. Okay, start upvoting or downvoting questions on that, and do at least 100 of these every day. Okay, and then people in your profile, you can mention, for example, my profile is Amit Grover, www.nurturetalent.com. Okay, so I keep getting people who keep coming to our profile based on this organic traffic. Okay, and make sure that it is relevant, and don't like questions like how to get a girlfriend in India, or there are some crazy questions and things are happening on Quora as well. So be away from that kind of time killing things. Then there are other tools. For example, on Twitter, there is a tool called Tweepy, Tweepi. It helps you identify who are the people who are following your competitors' brands. So you can actually search for those brands on Twitter, go to Tweepy and start following those people who are following your competitors' brand. Okay, so these are the like-minded people. That's the reason they are following those interest areas which are connected with your competitors' brand. So I think these are some of the things. On LinkedIn, you should start following at least 40 companies every day which are relevant to your sector. And in that, if you see, there is a section called follow. So once you follow, you'll always also be able to see other sections, first connection, second connection, third connections, who are the people following those brands, and you can start connecting with those people as well. Okay, so friends, I think this can be useful. The other question as far as PPC is concerned, you can actually start experimenting. So PPC is a little more advanced thing, and I always suggest that you should learn a little as you go along. You can say, like, for example, don't start with a budget of 50,000 or 50 lakhs or whatever is your XYZ budget. Start with 500. Try to evaluate, see the results, and after 2-3 days make that 500 to 1000, then make it 2000, then make it 5000 every day, and keep analyzing what works, what does not work, which kind of ad gets more click-through rates, which kind of ad has less bounce rates, more conversions, and put more money as you keep improving and seeing the results. Okay, if you feel, oh, there is no result coming in terms of conversions, no need to put more money. You can close the campaign or change the ads. Okay.
Thank you so much, Amit. Jimmy, I hope that will be beneficial for you and you would be able to implement these learnings. And then, Kabir had asked a question about getting information from potential customers, and he's just added that the question was more about getting information and surveying potential customers. So should he go about doing it offline or should he do online surveys?
So I think, see, the question is now, in earlier days, the question was online versus offline. I don't think so. The question is anymore on that. We need to have presence online as well as offline. Okay, now you see a lot of people having visiting cards which have their Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn contact details. Earlier, they used to have only website. Before that, not even website, they used to have only mobile numbers. Before that, there was not even a mobile number, they used to have only the addresses. Okay, now even addresses, people are saying no, visiting cards will not have address, the website or the Facebook page is good enough, or the Twitter ID or LinkedIn profile. So friends, we should not look at it as a online versus offline. Question is online and offline. Then there is another debate which is on online, whether it is search versus social. And again, as I have suggested, it's search and social. They are now going to converge and be an important part of your marketing efforts. Okay, so I would personally suggest that based on the product category, based on the your budgets, time, team, etc., you evaluate some of the options, start small and keep growing. And as I said, my experience has been that marketing is a regular activity, sales is like a cycle. You have to keep pedaling. And again, I'm repeating on that part. Do small experiment, get on to the next level, and then again you keep putting more efforts onto something that works.
Okay, thank you so much, Amit. Our next question is by Vinayak. He says, since startups have limited resources, what are the various marketing options apart from social media marketing, which entail minimum cash outflow and also have a good reach? Agreed, as you said, marketing is a necessity, but it also does entail cash outflow, and to manage that can be difficult for startups.
Okay, so in that case, what I suggest is limit it to a percentage of revenue. Large companies which are highly established, IPO हो गया है, they are in the stock markets, well-known brands, etc. They typically keep between 2 to 3% of their revenue in their marketing expenses. Something which is a growing business, they will keep between 4 to 6%. Something which is in a highly competitive category may keep about 10%. I would suggest personally to all the other startups and tech businesses, nearly 20% to 30% of your potential revenue, you should keep it for your marketing expenses. Okay, so one way to manage it is that you link it to your potential revenue or earned revenue, and keep putting that money, whatever you earn, put a part of it to marketing, or whatever you feel that you will earn in future, start investing into your marketing efforts. Okay, so typically most of the audience listening to me would be having some kind of basic amount or budgets in place, and instead of transferring those money to other things, so you must be keeping some money for salaries, you must be keeping some money for office rental, you must be keeping some money for other activities. So marketing is also one of those activities which I think not to be ignored.
Thank you so much, Amit. Thank you once again for such a knowledgeable session and taking up all questions very, very thoroughly. I'm sure everybody found your presentation very interesting and insightful. Since we were short on time, we still have some questions and we will get them answered for you by Amit, and we will send the answers to you in a mail individually. Before we close this session, I would like to say a big thank you to all the attendees for joining us in today's session. I would also like to announce that our next webinar is on analytics for online retail, on 24th of December by Umesh Gupta, CEO of Open Software Technology, which is a new age business intelligence and analytics platform with a special emphasis on the online retail industry. In this webinar, Amit will share how web analytics helps you identify the right target group and serve them better. And he will also talk about how analytics play a pivotal role in determining which business will survive, grow, and emerge as a winner in the long run. Thank you so much, Amit, once again, and thank you all the audiences. Have a nice day.